guys, I'm Evan and this is Magnolias and Sunlight, and we are on day 7 of DIY or Die, where we are doing a Halloween themed project every day in the month of October. And today we're going to switch it up for the last day of week 1. We're not going to do a DIY project as such, but we're going to create a display. So this is something I've done in the past. I call it like a pick your poison display. You'll see why in a minute. And I just get to utilize my collection of thrifted glassware. Most of this is secondhand, except I think this one little skull guy might be from Target. Everything else I've picked up from Etsy, estate sales, or thrift stores, and it's been a really fun collection to create. And I'm just excited to share it with you guys. I'll show you a few little things that I've done along the way, and then hopefully give you some really fun ideas on how to make a little candy display for yourselves. So let's just jump in with our first step. We got to clear this off. I set all of this up to make sure it was all in good condition, and now we got to take it all off so we can start over. So any good display needs a good base layer. So we're going to start off with this really fun, sparkly tablecloth that I've had in my stash for quite a while. It's a little more glitzy than I normally use, but you know, for Halloween, I feel like it's a pretty good fit. So I'm going to create a drape, and I have these stickers left over from another decorating project. They're just double-sided, like tacky foam stickers, and I'm going to kind of zhuzh the fabric a little bit, stick one here, and then I'm going to stick right to the corner of the table. And then we're going to get this nice draping effect that looks a little better than it just being flat. So then in addition, I'm not loving like how you can see under it. So I'm going to double layer our base layer with this creepy cloth. It's just fabric, and I found this at the thrift store for 99 cents. So we're gonna put this fabric in place, and you have to be kind of careful with it because it's a really light weave, so it's easy to create pretty big holes in it. Not like you've ripped it, but the fabric moves around so much that you want to be careful not to create like gaps in that weave because it's pretty noticeable. And then you can see here, it's pretty thin, one layer, and because I'm trying to cover up these books, even though I love these books, I found them at an estate sale and they're beautiful to look at. It's pretty thin, so we're going to double it up and then just slide it right there underneath the sequin tablecloth. It is thin enough that we're not creating a bump, which is important because we're putting glassware on top of this. I don't want anything to be tippy, but we're just kind of zhuzhing it a little bit, moving things around, and then tucking the excess up underneath so that you can't see it, and then replacing our drape. And then on the far end, I will need to re-stick our corner because I just undid all of the work that we had already done. But that's DIY, you know, you just kind of got to go with the flow. I need a way to put some poles, like some bamboo poles, to hang our banner across here. So I decided to use some brass pots with some of my plants, and this one is a Florida Ghost, which I just think is perfect for Halloween. Only plant people will get that when they come in, but that's fine. And then we can use these to put our posts in and hang our banner. So we always want to start with our flat pieces. This is a beautiful floral tray that I picked up. I believe this was a Savers or a Goodwill find. This was a thrift find, and I love this tray. So we're going to put this right in the middle because it is our biggest piece, and that way we have kind of a base to work off of. Some other plates we have to play with is this La Roque France. This was obviously 99 cents at Goodwill, and this will be great again to put down just for some color differentiation. I don't think it'll live there, but we can play with that as well, some layering, different colors. And then our other big piece that we have is another La Roque Paris. This one was $4.99 at a Goodwill, and I do like to use this one as my candy bowl for trick-or-treaters. So this one should probably go up here somewhere as well. So working with your big pieces first is important because we're already starting to run out of a little bit of room. So maybe we start shifting things. Maybe we do this here, and then we can do this in the back. This can come over a little bit. We just have to play. Okay, so this piece is interesting because I made this one it was just this bowl, and then I found this stand, I guess, but it didn't have, like, this was solid and it's flat, so I didn't know what it was actually meant to be used for. But because of this display, everything is about the same height, I wanted some height, so I created this little guy. I like a plate on a plate. It's a little unexpected, maybe a little unorthodox, but I always think it looks cute and gives some color difference, because then, like, look how fun that little combination is. I really love these covered candy dishes because they keep everything in it obviously covered rather than up here. Like, having just random candy sitting out kind of freaks me out. So I like to put things that aren't in wrappers in one of these covered candy dishes. These ones both came from Etsy. And then this little glass tray, it's actually got feet on it. And I use it for this houseplant in the back, kind of as a drip tray, even though that is a catch pot. But it just makes sure that there isn't water ever getting on my surface. And I'm going to use it here again because this candy dish has feet, and it tends to be a little more rolly than some of the others. So it's just going to work as a really solid base so that that one doesn't really have the opportunity to tip over sitting on the tablecloth. And then over on this side, I was noticing that all three of these covered dishes or covered candy dishes, they're the same height. They all came from Etsy. Two of them, I think, came from the same seller. So I'm going to use this little book to give one side a little height difference. And then I liked it so much that I actually decided to do it on the other side as well. And then this is where things get, you just start to play, because I really liked the pumpkin dish sitting on the black plate. But to mix up the colors, I think it looks better over here. And then I can use my really big glass pumpkin as a centerpiece on the black plate, and it's really gonna pop. And then we have a little surprise later. So like I said, I decided the other side needed to have some more height, just to kind of create a gradual eye line, like a slope from that topmost point all the way down to the corner of the table. So I thought I could use 3 books, but it didn't work out. So I'm using these 2 copies of Vintage Fitzgerald, and it was a kind of a weird fit, so I'm angling them. It looks beautiful, it looks purposeful, but it's also just to make sure that they fit. And then we're going to put that glass tray back on again, just for that added support. And then this side was very orange. So I'm going to throw in this vintage cauldron, which I searched high and low for on Etsy, and I absolutely love. Now for the banner. This is obviously the first line. I'm reusing this from a previous year. You can see the bamboo post over on the far side, and we're just going to hot glue our 3 banners in place. I want to be super transparent when things don't work out. So I couldn't get all of my letters to hang because I needed way more height than really looked good. So you're looking at the second line, pick is above it. And then we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slowly bring you down. We're gonna put poison across the front here. So I am quite literally just going to hot glue because this is just a crafty tablecloth that I'm not super concerned about, and the glue will peel right off of these sequins. I'm gonna go ahead, and this fell when I was trying to do it, and we're gonna hang this here. And I think that's gonna look really cute, and then it kind of ties the top banner into the bottom banner. And then we always need something a little bit quirky, silly, extra. So I wanted the edge of this banner to look finished, and I looked down and this tiny little skeleton had fallen out of the storage tub all of these glass containers were in, and he's a little worse for wear. His hand has fallen off and he's missing a leg, but that's nothing that we can't fix with a little hot glue. So I'm just gluing his hand right back on, and then I also need to glue his whole other leg back on. But I love how this looks. It just looks like this skeleton now is holding my banner up, and on the other side we're going to do something just as fun and cheeky, because I found something else in our storage bucket that needed a home, and we're going to just pop a cute little raven on this side. I didn't want to do two skeletons. That seemed a little too obvious to make them match, but the raven's really cute. And of course, you can't have a candy display without the candy. So I'm going to add my favorites, the Reese's over here. And then we also have some Reese's Pieces. Don't worry, there is a liner, a glass liner inside of this. I know a lot of people are concerned about vintage glass and it touching food. So you can see there is a Tupperware inside of this one. So the Reese's and the peanut butter candies are on the other side, and on this side I'm going to go ahead and throw in some candy corn, a classic. Personally, I don't understand it. I think it's kind of gross, but my husband does eat it. I wouldn't buy it if I thought I was just going to use it for a display and throw it away, but he will come and grab some every once in a while. Additionally, I like these gold wrappers on the green apple caramels. Maybe not something that I would eat, but when you're looking for candy, it's important to find things that match your pieces. Otherwise, it's going to look silly. And then these, I just think look like Play-Doh, but pumpkins inside of the pumpkin. I think it's cute. And as a finishing touch, I am stuffing this hollow glass pumpkin that is from the Goodwill with some leftover fairy lights. I think every holiday display needs a little bit of lighting magic, and there isn't really a lamp or any soft lighting in this area. So this will light up the whole display for us, and then I hide the battery pack behind the black plate it's sitting on so that you don't see it. All right, y'all, that brings us to the end of not only day 7, but the end of week 1 of DIY or Die. I'm really excited that we have made it. And I hope you also enjoyed this little bit of a different video today. Just goes to show that I have a lot more to throw your way before the month is over. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, follow on Instagram, do all of the things. We're on TikTok now too. And I will see you guys tomorrow for day 8.